welcome back from lunch, everyone. Hope you had a good, relaxing lunch and had a chance to network with everybody. We are going to start, if you will join me in your workbooks, on page 26, please. We're going to go in now to communicating with difficult people in tough situations. I'm sure that many of you, like myself, have had the chance to experience difficult people in your life, some at work, some in your personal lives. And I'm sure we'd all agree that difficult people can make difficult communication. Mostly because we get backed into a corner, or we feel uncomfortable, or we don't have the confidence to respond, or we don't have the skill set to respond. And so we're going to dive in a little bit in this section on who are those difficult types of people. We're going to touch on personalities a little bit. We're going to touch on some ways to handle criticism and how to sort of stand up for ourselves when we get into those situations. Is that a good plan, everybody? All right, so on page 26, we're going to start and go through the 7 most difficult people. At the bottom of the page, you're going to see right there, the first one is called the negative person. I call them the negaholic. So if you'd like to add that to your page, you may, the negaholic. What do you suppose the characteristics are of a negaholic? Anybody? What would you guess?
Always negative.
Always negative, right? Anything else?
Finding fault in all kinds of things.
Finding fault in anything and everything and everyone, right? Very good. Any other ideas?
Nothing's ever right.
Nothing is ever right. You know, I tell people all the time that sometimes negaholics are people that light up a room when they leave it. Does anyone agree with that? You know, you just can't wait for them to kind of go and take their negativity with them. In the workbook, you're going to see how to handle them if they're a coworker, and how to handle them if you sort of have to supervise them. So let's take a look at this. If they're a coworker, it says finding fault doesn't come up with solutions, so the negativity accomplishes nothing. Including them in the process to find a solution may diminish or stop the negativity. Now, you know, this reminds me of a management, for those of you in the room who are managers and supervisors, and we talk about training and communication. One of the things that I teach all the time is, look, if you have a person on your team that has trouble with communicating with poise and power, for example, excuse me, the thing that you want to do is to have them teach on the topic. Now let me give you an example of what I mean. If I go over here to this negative person and I say, listen, Rob, I know you've been having some challenges with some things, and I am so excited because I went to the seminar and I was thinking about you, and I want to support you, and I bought this audio CD for you, and man, I want you to listen to this. Now, what are the chances that Rob is going to listen to that? Anybody?
Slim to none.
Slim to none, right? He's looking at me going, are you kidding? Because he's going to find all the negative reasons why he shouldn't approve. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. But if you're a manager, how many of you that are managers have regular meetings with your people? Weekly, monthly, whatever. At least once a month. A technique, and especially with negaholics, but a technique is to say to yourself, okay, Rob's challenge is just communicating with poise and power. How do I get Rob to engage in that learning and not be negative about it? What you want to do is set the stage for your team. You inform your team that once a month, one of the team members is going to do a training to all of their other team members on a topic for about 15-20 minutes. And you assign the topic. Now guess what topic I'm going to assign to Rob? Poise and confidence and power in communication, right? So now I'm going to say to Rob, you know, Rob, we've been having all the team members do a training recently, and it's your turn next month. Are you excited about that?
That'll never work.
Well, you know, I have all the confidence in the world, but here's what we're going to do, Rob. This is the training that I've selected for you to train everybody else on. I need you to listen to this. What I'd like you to do is get 10 main points out of that. Bring it to me about a week before the training. Let's go over those points together, and then I'm going to let you train the rest of the team. Do you have any questions about those instructions?
Can you give it to somebody else?
I cannot, because I think you're the best qualified for this topic.
Okay.
Can I count on you to do that for me?
I'll make it happen.
Awesome. Now, what are the chances that Rob will listen to this audio?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Tell me why.
Because you give a choice.
Yeah.
Say it again?
So he won't be embarrassed.
So he won't be embarrassed. He doesn't want to look bad in front of his peers, even if he is a negaholic. Nobody wants to look bad in front of their peers. What are the chances that he will pick up 2 or 3 or 4 points out of this audio when he does that? Pretty good? Okay. So those are examples of ways that you can get negaholics engaged in making change. And when it says, find a way to include them in the process of learning or change, that's an example of what we mean. If you supervise them, put the responsibility on the individual to find the answer. So again, we just found a way to do that. Agree? Great. The next one is called the blameless person. So let's talk about that. What do you think that means?
Nothing's ever their fault.
Nothing is ever their fault. They are perfect. They are blameless. It's always some other reason or some other problem or some other thing that got in the way of doing it. And again, it says here if they're a coworker, touch base often, keep up a friendly rapport. But I'm going to talk about the supervision piece. State the performance issue in clear, objective terms and then listen to their feedback. Tell them how to fix the mistake and set a time and a date for a follow-up meeting. What do we call those follow-up meetings? What's another term for that? Anyone? Debrief.
Coaching meetings.
Coaching meetings, very good. What else?
Accountability.
Accountability meetings. I've heard them called milestone meetings. All right, any of those terms are sufficient. The whole point of the meeting is to do what, folks? To improve them, to follow up and make sure that they're on track. During the follow-up meeting, compliment the person for fixing the mistake, confront the blaming tactics, and reinforce them with making the mistakes that making a mistake is okay. Now, this is two of several that you see here. As I shared with you all early this morning, I respectfully acknowledge that you all know how to read. If you don't, come let me know on the break, okay? But the reality is, as I shared this morning, my expectation is that those of you who are really wanting to improve are going to go ahead and review some of the rest of these on your own, agreed? But there is another one here that I kind of want to talk about real quick. So let's just put these up. I want to draw attention to the whiner. So if you will look on page 27, middle of the page, it says the whiner. I want to share with you some things that I've learned about whiners personally in my experience. There are some things that a lot of times we do with whiners that quite frankly don't work. So let's talk about what those are. And you are welcome to jot some notes down here on the side of your page to add this because this is not in your workbook. The first thing is we try to cheer them up. Okay, we try to cheer them up. We try to suggest solutions to them. We tell them to pull themselves together. We complain about the complainers. Guess what? Now you're the complainer, right? We ignore them and avoid them. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, how does that work out? Do they go away? No, they don't go away. They just keep right on whining, right? So that doesn't work. We complain along with them. That doesn't work. And we confront them about it. And the problem with confronting them is that much like any other aholic, they don't realize they have the problem. Would you agree, yes or no? So how can you confront somebody about an issue that they don't maybe acknowledge that they have? Okay, so what can you do that might work? Now, before I give you this tip, I want to make this suggestion. This is not from a supervisory standpoint. This is from a coworker standpoint. And as a coworker with a problem child, as you might call them, okay, your job is not to fix them. Do you agree, yes or no? Yes. Your job as a coworker is not to fix your coworkers. It is to get them out of your office so that you can work. Does anyone agree with that point? Okay, so here, how do we get them out of the office politely? Here's what you do. This is a trick that does work from time to time. No matter what they say to you, no matter what they're whining about, you look at them and say something like this. You know, Stephen, that just sounds terrible. I don't know how you deal with all those problems. Because about 50% of the time, they'll respond with something like this. Well, you know, it's not that bad. I was just telling you what happened this morning. Has anyone experienced this before? Have you witnessed this before? See, because what they're really after is what? Look right here. Empathy. If you want them out of your office so that you can get back to work, the quicker you give them what? Empathy, the faster they will probably move on to the next coworker. Right? So is that a good tip for you on whiners? All right, so take a minute on your own when you get back, review the rest of these, okay? If you have any questions about these during the break, feel free to come and grab me, and I'll share some ideas for you. Let's turn to page 28. On page 28, we're going to get into the 4 personality styles. What we just talked about was the personality characters, you know, the characters. These are the actual 4 personality styles. Now, it's my experience in this day and age that most of you in this room have probably taken some kind of a personality profile before. Is that true? True, yes. Yes. How about you, Randy? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Tim? You've taken a personality profile before. Great. So all of us in here have taken a profile before. And let me just say this. For the purpose of this exercise, it doesn't matter whether you've done DISC or SELF or Myers-Briggs or what we teach in our program, which is called Exploring Personality Styles right here. It doesn't make any difference which one of these you do because they all are going to come back and tell you the same thing. You fit into one of 4 personality quadrants, predominantly speaking. Does everybody know what I mean by that? It means that you have one personality corner that stands out more than the others. That's your predominant style. Now, how does this affect you when it comes to working with your coworkers? Here's how it works. If we go to Rome, what language do they speak? Italian, very good. Some people say Roman.
I was going to say Roman.
Roman. Italian is the correct answer. Okay, and if we go to Germany,
Sure.
German, very good. It's not a trick question. If we go to Germany, German. So here's my point. If you live in Germany and the only language they speak is German, and you're going to take a vacation to Rome, and the only language they speak is Italian, and you can't speak Italian and they can't speak German, and there's not an app for that. Just work with me here, okay? If there's no app for that, how long could it take you to find the hotel?
Days.
It could take you days, hours. How much of your vacation time could you invest trying to find things? Why is that? Somebody tell me.
You have to find some other way to communicate.
Exactly. You can't communicate through actual language, so you have a what? A full-fledged language barrier. Very good. Now, if you know you're going to Rome for vacation, how many of you would either find a translation guide, learn a little bit of the language to ask the important questions, you know, like where's the hotel, where's the restroom, where's the airport, the important, where's the bar, you know, the important stuff, right? Or would find an app for that. How many of you would do one of the 3? Very good. Now, why would you do that? Someone tell me that.
To remove the barrier.
To remove the barrier so that?
I could accomplish my goal.
Very good. And that goal would be to?
Get to the bar, get to the restaurant, get to the restaurant.
Without investing a lot of?
Time.
Yours. I'll pay you later, okay? Because that was very good. Yeah, exactly. We're trying to remove the language barrier so that we can get to what we want or need more efficiently. Correct? So when we talk about personality differences, it's the same thing. Let's take a look at this right up here. These are the 4 personalities that are outlined in our handbook called Exploring Personality Styles. Okay? We have the integrator, we have the focuser, the relator, and the operator. And as I said, when in Rome, what's the rest of it?
Do as the Romans.
Do as the Romans do, which means in our scenario, what?
Talk.
Talk their language. Very good. See, you guys are doing really well. You talk their language. I know, you're doing really well. So you talk their language. And the reason why is because if I walk up to Randy, and let's say Randy is an operator, and I am a focuser, if I talk to Randy in focuser language, will we be on the same page about our objectives?
Probably not.
Probably not. Could it take us longer to get to the same results? Yeah, it could. So we need to learn to speak to our personality differences the same way we prepare to go to a foreign country.